Hi there, it's Brooke Castillo, and in this mini training, I am going to teach you how to stop worrying. So, first, let's ask ourselves, what is worrying? What is it? Have you ever really thought about it? It's something that seems to be like this knee jerk reaction that we have that we don't ever question. Like, is it necessary? And I want to tell you that it's not. There's no useful reason to worry. You don't have to worry in order to be protective. You don't have to worry in order to take care of yourself. You don't have to worry in order to be careful. Worry is actually completely unnecessary. So when you ask yourself what it is, here's how I'd like you to define it in order to change your life forever. Worry is an emotion caused by a thought we have about our past or about our future. It's really important that you understand that worrying about our past absolutely does nothing to change the past. And worrying about our future is absolutely unnecessary in order to take whatever kind of action we want to take in our future. And I would say that worry is probably responsible for more unanswered dreams than anything else I've ever encountered with my clients. When you think about the worst case scenario, if you're so worried about that worst case scenario that you never take action, you will never be able to fail enough to succeed enough to achieve any dream in your life. One of my favorite authors, Eckhart Tolle, says, worry pretends to be necessary. And I remember when I heard him say this, I decided that I was going to go on a worry-free diet. I was going to remove worry from my life like some people remove gluten from their life. I was just not going to allow it in. If it's not necessary, if it's only pretending to be necessary, how would my life change if I stopped worrying? And I want to tell you what happened when I decided to stop worrying and I refused to worry about anything is I started taking action. What I realized is that worry was an excuse not to take action. Worry actually was an action. And when you have the emotion of worry, the action that you take is actively worrying instead of taking action in your life. So if I want to build a business, one of the things that I need to do is ask people if they're interested in participating in what I have to offer. Now, if I'm worried that they'll say no, or I'm worried that they'll reject me, then instead of asking them if I can help, I worry instead. I want you to think about how much of your time has been spent not just worrying in the emotional sense of worrying, but also worrying in the action sense of worrying, not taking action in your life because you're actively worrying. It's a really important distinction. Now, I am going to give you 4 steps on how to stop worrying. I'm not just going to tell you that you should stop worrying. I wrote down the steps here and I'm going to share them with you. And one of the first things that you can do is ask yourself, what are you worried about? Whatever it is. Sometimes we have like this vague sense of worry. We need to label it. We need to put a name on it. So what is it that I'm worried about? I'm worried about my son's future, or I'm worried about being able to make enough money, or I'm worried about being able to lose weight, whatever it is. And so I want you to ask yourself what you're worried about. And then I want you to ask yourself, what is the worst case scenario? Okay, so don't just worry about something vaguely. What is there really to worry about? What is that worst case scenario? And when you ask yourself that question, a lot of people want to avoid that, like it's not in their subconscious somewhere, but it is. And by bringing it up and seeing the light of day and seeing that you're worried about it, that's when you can reconcile with it. Because remember, it's just thoughts in your head thinking about a worst case scenario. Now, here's just a little fun fact. Most of what we're worried about is already happening. So a lot of us don't want to lose weight because we're afraid we won't lose any weight. That's what we're doing right now. Most of us are worried that our kid won't be able to do something that we want them to do in their life. Well, they're already there. It's already the worst case scenario that we'll be unhappy with what our kid's doing, but we're unhappy with what we're anticipating that they may or may not do. Right? Maybe I don't want to go and ask that person if they'll come work with me because maybe they'll say no. Well, you're the one saying no. So the worst case scenario is already happening. Okay, so that's step one. The next thing you want to do is take this thing that you're worried about and boil it down to the facts. What are the facts? Because a lot of time we have all this thought drama around what's true. So we want to take this thing that we're worried about and what are the current facts of this thing? Just write them down. Now, remember, facts don't have any adjectives or adverbs. Everybody agrees that they're a fact. It can't be any kind of subjective thing. Now, a lot of us think, well, he's not going to amount to anything. We think that's a fact. That is not a fact. That's an opinion. Everybody has to agree that it is a fact. Okay? So you've taken this worst case scenario, this thing that you're worried about, and you've written down just the facts of those things. Now, the goal that you have at this point is to make peace with the facts. And the way that you do that is by understanding that facts are completely neutral until we add meaning to them. As soon as we add our meaning, as soon as we add our thinking to those facts, then that is when we start worrying. So if we can make peace with neutral facts, we eliminate all of the worry. Okay, so we take this worst case scenario and we say, I'm worried that I won't lose weight if I start this weight loss program. And we just worry and worry and worry about it instead of even trying the weight loss program. Okay, now when you look at that thing that you're worried about, what are the facts? The facts are you don't know if you'll lose weight. You're not losing weight right now. Could possibly help you lose weight. We don't know until you try. It seems like, it's a weight loss program that's worked for other people. That could be a fact, okay? Make sure you write down all those facts and make peace with those. And then notice everything else is just thought drama. Everything else is just what you're thinking that's causing you to worry. And then you want to make a decision about what you can control. And this is where it starts to get really interesting because what you recognize is that you can't control your past and you can't control your future. The only thing that you can control is right now. And what you can control right now is the way you feel and the action you take. And that, by controlling that, you change the future that you may just be worried about. So in this moment, when you stop feeling worried and you stop acting worried instead of taking action, you start feeling motivated, you start feeling excited, you start feeling determined, and you start taking action from this place. And immediately, all the time you spent worrying, all the emotional energy you spent worrying is now flowing into action. Now, as soon as you start taking action, you'll be tempted to worry about the effect of that action. And you just put it right back into the process. What's the worst case scenario? What are the facts? What am I making those facts mean? Can I make peace with the facts? And then start taking action towards what it is you want to do. We think by avoiding our worry and pretending that it's not there, that we're somehow eliminating it. And I want to promise you that we're not. We're not eliminating worry by burying it or buffering away. What we want to do is bring that worry right up here. What is the worst case scenario? What are we worried about? And recognize that it's just a thought and an emotion and an action that we can change. Do not let worry win. You have the power to make the decision to never worry. It's never necessary. You can take care, you can be careful, you can be cautious, you can be aware without ever having to worry. You can be safe, you can be protective, you can do all the things that you think are really important, that you think worry is required in order to do. And I want to say you can do all of those things from a place of abundance and excitement and love, and recognize that worry just pretends to be necessary. I hope that you will apply this tool. I hope that you will go on a worry-free diet and start taking more action than you've ever taken in your entire life by recognizing that you have been burning up so much of your energy worrying. I wish you nothing but the best of luck. And if you would like, I would like to invite you to come to Self-Coaching Scholars to work on this in a much deeper way. You can do that by going to thelifecoachschool.com/join or by hitting the button somewhere on this page. Before you go, I just want to remind you of one thing. There are two types of people. There are the people who need a lot of facts and a lot of information. And I have on that join page included a lot of facts and a lot of information for you. But there are other people, if you're like me, that are more of a quick start, that don't need a lot of facts and a lot of information, and in fact can feel overwhelmed and bogged down by that. If that is you, do not spend a bunch of time on that join page watching all those videos and reading all the content. Just click join and see me inside of Self-Coaching Scholars so we can start coaching and working on the very things that are holding you back from creating whatever it is you're meant to create in your life. I hope to see you inside.